Hey guys, I wanted to come on to show you guys my finished bezels from yesterday, my pendants that I was working on. I'm going to give you a few tips that'll help you just in case you decide to do this project because it was my first time and I did my first time via video showing you guys. So you saw some of my struggles that I don't want you to have. So first and foremost, if you decide to do this project, I purchased these bezels. These are bezels and they're just pendants that don't have anything inside of them, as you can see. And then they already have the holes for you, which is what I really, really like, for you to go ahead and put your wire or chain or whatever for your necklaces. So, what I would recommend is to pre plan how you plan to design each bezel. Okay. So, if you're going to be using beads, you know, little I don't know. These are additional type of little jewelry pieces that you can insert. Um, let's see what else. Beads like this. Okay. Dried flowers, sand, whatever you're deciding to put inside of your bezel, because you can get really creative with these. Is to again pre-plan how you are going to design each bezel. Okay, so for this package that I bought, and I think this was like either 5.99 or no 7.99 or 11.99. I don't remember. Okay, but it was one of them. But not a bad deal because you get 46 pieces. So it comes with your bezels, and it also comes with the tape, or maybe the tape came with the other one. I think it came with the bezels, and then it came with the black necklace wire for you to use. Okay, so not a bad deal, especially if you decide that you want to market these. Very low cost for you. Okay, but what you would do is you would take a piece of the tape and cut it off to size. Now, I started out with a long piece and I put a couple of bezels on one. I would recommend that you do one bezel for each little slip of paper or slip of tape, because sometimes you want to work with just that one bezel and you don't want to have to be moving around the entire, piece of tape with the other bezels you're not working on. So you just cut off a piece of tape that will cover the full backing of your bezel. And then you lay your bezel down on the sticky side of the tape. Okay. Once that's to keep the epoxy from actually going under your bezel and just, sliding out. Okay. So once you get it on your tape, then put it down on like on a piece of paper, whatever you're going to be working on, lay it down, and then start designing out what you want to put in that particular bezel. So this is a bead, this is a butterfly. So if I wanted to put a butterfly, or I was thinking about putting a butterfly in this one, then I would just take it and design it out like that, see what it looks like to me, and then determine, yeah, I want to do that, or no, I want to do something else. The reason I say that is because once you put the epoxy in and you put the bezel in or the bead in and you decide that's not what I want, then you've pretty much put epoxy on a bead that you're not going to use. So it's better, and you've kind of messed up your epoxy self-leveling then. So it'll still continue to self-level, but I'm just saying. So again, take whatever bead. So if you decide you don't want to do the butterfly, let's say you decide you just want to put like a little bead like that in the center. Okay. Then look at it, see what it looked like to you. And then if you decide, oh yeah, I like that, then that's good. What you'll do is with your bezel on your oh, correction. Correction, guys. Put the tape in after, put the tape on the back after you've decided, because the tape is sticky. So you don't want these to stick to your tape while you're trying to determine what you want to use. Okay. So do this just like I have it, just on a plain piece of paper or cardstock or whatever, just so you can get a feel. Once you decide that's what I'm going to do, then put the tape on. Okay. But you would, after you decide, so if I say, yeah, this is what I want to put in the center of this bezel, then what you would do is take and mix your epoxy according to the instructions on the box. Once you get your epoxy mixed, you're ready to pour. You want to just put just a little bit, cover the bottom inside of the bezel, okay? So you're not talking to the bottom of my glasses. So you just want to cover the bottom part inside the bezel and then go on to the next bezel. The reason I say that is because you want to allow it to kind of start to get a little thick so that when you place your bezel, it doesn't move around. Okay, so as long as the epoxy is still kind of runny, self-leveling, then this is going to move around in there. So you want to allow it to kind of get a little thick to where it's not moving around any longer, and then drop your bezel, drop your bead. Get like a toothpick or something so that just in case you drop it in the wrong place, you'll be able to take that toothpick and move it to the center or wherever you wanted it to actually be. So this would be really, really pretty because what I found is that when you have that clear, epoxy dries clear and has like a glossy look to it. When you have that with something dead in the center, it turns out really pretty. So this may look simple and plain to you, but I promise you, once you put that epoxy around it and put that bead in the center, it's really pretty. And I'm going to show you my finished product or items here in just a minute. But I just wanted to give you guys some tips since I wasn't talking during the video. I'm making up for it. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Okay. As a little inside joke. Okay. And then once you drop the bead down in there, then you can add additional epoxy because when you put that in, it's going to lift up a little bit, okay? And then you can continue to put, additional epoxy around there. Now, I'm going to show you what mine ended up turning out to look like. So, without further ado, here we go. Okay, so I have to put stuff up because if I don't, as I'm talking and working, because if I don't, everything will be all over the place and I'll have all kinds of projects going on at one time. Okay. All right. So here is one. So hopefully you guys can see this just fine. And so what I did is I put a bottom layer of the epoxy and then I put 3 beads in the center of the epoxy. So I think that'll be really cute once I put my necklace thing on. So that's one. Okay. So hopefully you guys can see that. But you see how with it being the clear epoxy and then the beads bring that pop of color. Now you can put glitter or what have you in there in addition to this, but I tried a little bit of everything as you're going to see. So that was one of them. Okay. Then I had one that had like this stork or stark, I don't know, pelican. Okay. And so what I did is I placed it in the center of one of the bezels. And it has like a little pink color to it. And I didn't want to mess up the coloring. So I left it just like it was. So hopefully you guys can kind of see that little bit of pink tint in there. But I think this one is going to be my favorite. I really, really like this one. So I'm probably going to keep this one. Okay. And then from the back, it just has that shiny side that was on the back side of the item there. So that's another one. So that's 2 that I've made. And then this was the first one that I did that I didn't think I would like because I put glitter in there and it was like really, really dark purple all over. But what I did is I put a bead inside and then I let it dry some and then I put a bead on top. So there you can see what that one looks like. So I really like this one with that bead on top. And then from the back, it just has the shiny side of the bead, but that's what it looked like. Okay, so I really like this one. Then I decided to use one of these inside of a bezel that's shaped like that. And that's what I ended up with. Okay. So that's it from the back side, which would have been the sticky side of that bead. but I like it. I really, really like it. So hopefully these are showing up really good for you guys to see. But I just put the epoxy on the bottom, drop that on the top, let it dry a bit, and then I put additional epoxy on top of it because as you can see, this has like a really rugged look and feel to it. And I wanted it to have just a little bit of the ruggedness, but the shiny. Okay, so that's the fourth one there. Then I decided to do one with a bunch of little bitty round beads. So you can see that I put a bunch of different little round beads in there. And I really wanted to keep the little holes in the beads on the side so you couldn't see them that well, but they kept moving around in the epoxy. So that's why I say let the epoxy kind of thicken up a little bit before you start dropping anything in it. But I really like that. And I think that's going to be super cute as a necklace there. So I can't wait to put my little chains on there. Then I did one where I took the beads and put them straight down. So you can see there. And then from the back, it looks the same. But I think that one will be cute as well. So I'm really enjoying working with these bezels. So I'm going to do earrings today. This is going to be one of my favorites, I do believe. I took one of the, let's see if I have one over here. I took this big clear looking bead and I placed it in the center. So I started out with a little bit of epoxy and then I dropped this in the center. So from the back, it just looks like that. And then that's the front. And again, I like how the epoxy is clear around it, and then you have your bead in the center. What I would have liked in this pack of beads if they had different colors of that round circle. So I'm probably going to look for some because I think that's really pretty with that bead dead in the center. Okay, so that's how that one will look once I put my little necklace thing on. And some of the necklace attachments are longer than others, so I might make that one more like the choker kind. I think that'll be cute. All right, and then put that back over there and that back over there. This one was gonna be my favorite, but again, I put it in while the epoxy was still kind of self-leveling, and so it moved a bit, but I actually took two beads. I did a blue one, and then I added a red on top, which I think is really, really pretty, but because it moved, it's kind of off center. So I think what I'm gonna do, we're crafters, so we're always thinking, but I think I'm going to put some initials right there in some permanent vinyl on there to take up that little space to make it look like it was intentional. But can you imagine that would have been absolutely gorgeous with that dead in the center like I wanted it? But again, start out one thin layer of epoxy, allow it to thicken a little bit before you start dropping anything into it. Okay, that's a big, big, big tip because this one would have been absolutely my favorite had I had it not moved over a little bit, but it was because I was working fast, teaching myself as I'm going, and that's what I got. But I think it's still pretty. I still love it, and I'm still gonna rock it. Okay. All right. Then I got one where I took and I dropped a little flower in the top, and then I had two bees that were stuck together. So I put them at the bottom to make it look like a stem. So I think that one is cute as well. So there we there we go. Okay. And then the last one is really pretty. I really like this one. So hopefully you guys can see this one. I took and did like all glitter inside of this one. And then I added a bead, another layer of epoxy, and then I added a bead on the outside. So again, I wish I would have had a bunch of different colors in this type of bead, but it only had red in this package. So I ended up having to go with red, but I think that one is going to be gorgeous as well. So I ended up with 11 um, necklaces out of the pack that I've done so far. And it came with 46 pieces, so I still have a lot to work with. But now I have taught myself exactly what to do. And that's why I say, guys, experience is a good teacher. So even when you are crafting and you're thinking you're making a lot of mistakes, you're actually teaching yourself for the next time. So there's a lot of things that I taught myself this time that I'm going to be working on today so that I can make these even better. And guys, if you're thinking about selling these, like this is a great, great, great product to have as something to sell because it's low expense on your side, okay? Because again, let's say it was $11.99 for 46 pieces, you know, and all you're using is epoxy and then whatever you decide to put in. You can get really, really creative with these things. The only one I didn't use that I told you guys about yesterday was the shells. I felt like the shells were like too big. I do have some that's a little smaller, so I'll see maybe, I don't know, I'll try it with the earrings, I'm not sure. But I haven't used the shells yet. Those were the ones that were marked down at Hobby Lobby from $5.99 to $1.49 or something like that. I haven't used those yet. But again, the key here is to pre-plan out how you want to design each bezel before you start. Okay. Look at it. If it feels right for you, then go with it. Do not just jump out there, you know, willy nilly. Is that a word? Willy nilly? I don't heard that before. Am I using it in the right context? I don't know. Okay. I call this thing over here a stork, a stark, a pelican. I don't know. I don't know. You know, I'm old, y'all. Anyway, but yeah, pre-plan how you want to design your bezel. And um, as you're pre-planning, make sure the tape is not in there because if the tape is on the back, when you put that bead or whatever, it's gonna stick because it's tape. Okay, so do it without the tape, and then when you're ready to go, put your tape on the back of your bezel with the sticky side facing up towards the bezel. Okay, so it's not so that you want to have that sticky side. As you can see here, I got the sticky side down because I turned them over once I pulled them up, but you want the sticky side going up facing your bezel to hold your bezel in place and to keep the epoxy from leaking out from the last thing I'm going to talk about really quickly, and I don't want to keep harping on this, but guys, a lot of people say they work with all kinds of epoxy and resin and what have you, and that's really great. But if you don't have this mask, this is a must. Like, I absolutely love working with this mask. Like, it's a world of difference. And I got this on Amazon. I'll post the link in the comments down below. But I got this and the eye protector both on Amazon for $39, which I think is a really great deal. And it comes with the replaceable filters here on the side. So these little things pop off and then you just screw them back on. Okay. So I got mine in crazy directions, but supposed to be like that. So anyway, this mask is a must have. I don't care what nobody says. I don't care who says you can't smell the epoxy. Trust me, this thing makes a world of difference. Like I was able to truly work with this epoxy so much better than not having one at all, not having this mask at all. So I wish I had gotten this years ago. I've seen people with them on, they look crazy. I look crazy, but it's for the safety. Okay. So if you're going to work with epoxy, please read the instructions, educate yourself, and definitely protect yourself. Okay. So for those that say they can't smell it, trust me, there is a smell to epoxy. I don't care what nobody says. It is a smell to epoxy. So protect yourself at all costs so you don't get sick and then you can't craft, um, you know, from the chemicals. So that's all I have, guys. I just wanted to put those tips out there because I wasn't doing a whole lot of talking during the video. If you want to go back and watch, the video is in the group. It's also on YouTube if you want to find it faster. And thank you guys so much for being a part of my group, Candoris's Cricut and Creative Crafters. That's what we are, creative crafters. And I'm not experienced at anything. Okay. I teach myself, I Google and YouTube just like you do, and then I jump in all willy nilly, if that's a word, okay? And I hope it's not a bad thing, okay? So, I'm old, so I don't keep up with times like that because I'm crafting. I'm too busy crafting. I ain't got time for that foolishness. But anyway, guys, if you have any questions about the process, feel free to reach out and I will be more than willing to help you. Like I said, it's a really easy thing to do. You can get really creative with these. I'm probably going to find myself at the dollar store looking for things that I can put inside these because I'm going to do the earrings next. But yeah, I'm excited about this. I really, really love this. I like how these turned out. So I'm not really a jewelry person, but now I will be. And I'll be able to make my own clip on earrings because I don't wear the ones that are not clips. Okay. But I hate that this moved over. I may redo this one and I may not. I'm just going to put some initials here. But this one is my favorite. Out of all 11, I think the heart with the heart inside, the heart bead inside with that red bead sitting on top of it is absolutely my favorite with that clear epoxy going around it. All right, guys, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Thank you guys so much for being a member of my group. If you are, and again, if you're not, it's Pandora's Cricut and Creative Crafters on Facebook. And also, you can find me on YouTube by searching Doris Edwards and subscribe to my channel. I'm always uploading videos at least once or twice a week, sometimes more. And if you click on the bell notification, top right hand corner, then that will notify you anytime I post videos or upload a video to YouTube. All right. Have a great day, guys. Bye. Oh, and as always, each one reach one so that each one can teach one. Have a great day, guys. Bye.